I'm Staff Sergeant Allie Rose. In the news, the Pentagon says the relationship between the U.S. and Pakistan is a long-standing and good one, and that terrorism is being fought in both Afghanistan and in Pakistan.
There are terrorists who exist and operate and conduct operations in Pakistan, as well as those who exist and operate and conduct operations in Afghanistan. We are dealing with, that's why our strategy is about Afghanistan and Pakistan. We cannot divorce these two entities from one another. Obviously, we are able to maintain distinct bilateral relationships with each, but in terms of a terrorist problem, this is one we've collectively got to deal with.
Pentagon Press Secretary Geoff Morrell says U.S. and Pakistani officials are set to meet later in the month for a strategic dialogue. The Department of Defense is observing National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The military faces the same challenges as society at large. Installation family support centers offer a wide variety of programs and classes, while Military One Source and Military Homefront provide online access to information and resources. And for the latest military news, signature programming, and more, head to PentagonChannel.mil. I'm Staff Sergeant Allie Rose with your Pentagon Channel News Update.
The American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons might not be a title you'd think inspires art, but it is an organization that includes people who are inspired. Orthopedic doctors, perhaps more than others, have been propelled forward professionally by the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. But many have also been deeply affected emotionally, so much so they're expressing those feelings through art.
Hey, is that coming from the same location?
That's outgoing, that's outgoing.
Okay, gotcha.
I just hit another IED.
A Marine's eyes brim with tears as he clutches a comrade's dog tags. The artist, Dr. Michael Sracek, treated patients at the National Naval Medical Center. He says he used blue to represent the strong sadness and emotional haze of wishing it were only a dream. Dr. Damian Rispoli created this depiction of a weary surgeon after serving 3 tours in Iraq. It's made of superimposed trauma photos. Rispoli talks about a combat doctor's tendency to depersonalize the work, but he says at the end of the day, the imagery drifts back into the conscious mind. This series was not created by a doctor, but by the mother of a wounded service member. Those are digitized photos she took during his recovery. Ruth Ficken says she wants people to understand the amazing amount of time and work that goes into recovering from the injuries our soldiers sustain. His stepfather took this photo. It's an exhibit honoring the wounded and those who heal them.
Features artists who are wounded warriors and caregivers of wounded warriors, and artists who were impressed by hearing the story of a wounded warrior, but it really has to do with the effect of war.
It puts into perspective what moved that person, which is always, people can't tell you that, but when they go back into their life and they go back to living with their family and to their communities, what did we really give them? What do they remember?
I just think it speaks to just the fact that these people are individuals.
Bob Barr works in Walter Reed Army Medical Center's Orthopedic Training Center. He helps people regain control of their lives. He says expression through art is the same sort of therapy.
A war situation, whatever happened to them, all of a sudden they lost control of what was going on, and then they were able to regain that sense of control by choosing an art medium to display or to explain what they were feeling inside.
Many of the pieces feature depictions or parts of actual prosthetics.
The soldiers like that appearance, even the women soldiers. It does not bother them that it doesn't look like we think of an arm or a leg. They're proud of it. They gave that extremity.
Others are illusions. This is a self-portrait of artist and cancer survivor Greg Carden. Others are abstract. Joseph Pearson painted this after seeing a young veteran in a coffee shop.
Living in the D.C. area where lots of young soldiers who are recovering from their wounds. You might see them at a restaurant, you might see them walking down the street. And so that particular painting actually reminds me of very regular experiences, seeing a young man or a young woman quickly overcoming the thing that happened to them far away.
Barr gravitates toward the sculptures. This one used to have arms. One day, artist Alexandra Martin says they just fell off. She also created this piece, which will soon find a home in Barr's house. It represents soldiers who've lost limbs to bombs. It also used to stand upright.
We give back and we restore. I see the beauty in the individual rather than the missing parts.
Drawing the eye into from what others might look away.
Now that exhibit is split into two parts. Half is at the National Museum of Health and Medicine in Washington, D.C. The other half located at the University of Maryland in Baltimore. The museum exhibit will be on display through February. And coming up ahead on Around the Services, we'll explain how some wounded warriors are getting a little splash therapy. But first, keeping Kunar Province safe is a full-time job for soldiers in Afghanistan. We go downrange next to explore this mountainous region near the Pakistan border.